All right, good morning. Saturday morning, Saturday the 30th. It is 9:05. Try to get a little bit earlier start, but it ain't gonna matter. It's very humid out. So today we're going to try to put in a window. This will be the window that's directly behind me on that panel. And it'll be our first, that's probably the biggest cut we have to do. There's another one that's gonna go right here on this panel, right here. But that is not here yet. It's supposed to arrive today. So we'll at least get this window installed. This is a CRL 293L if you're looking to buy one. And these are built so that you don't have to caulk anything. They kind of just seal themselves. So you have this inner ring. You can see that, and that the window will then fit into the hole that you cut, and this ring goes around it. And then you use these little screws that they give you to pull that window tight against the frame of the van. And then there's a little rubber gasket that goes all the way around the window itself. And that once that's pulled tight, it creates a watertight seal. So there's no caulking needed, no sealant. No butyl tape or anything like that. And it's very, it looks like it came from Ford that way when you're done. At least that's the hope, right? First thing I need to do though is to prep the frame. And so as I mentioned, actually let me show you how this frame fits into the van. Claudia, I don't know if the camera will pick it up. I'll try. So you can see this panel is built. This is where you're intended to put windows or whatever. So this frame fits exactly around the edge of this panel. I don't know, you probably can't see this, but it'll be a little clearer once we start cutting. And then there's an upper lip here that holds up against the frame of the internal frame, and then the window slides into this, which would come in right through here, and that's how it holds the window tight. So yeah, the first thing I need to do is do a little pre-drilling around this window, because these screws, they're not metal screws. These aren't self-tapping metal screws. They probably would go into here okay. With enough force, but then you also run the risk of over torquing or over tightening and then stripping out the hole, and then you're not going to get anything in there. So not anything to grab. So I will go through first, and we got a little 30 seconds. I don't know. It's a tiny bit. Same thing I used to do the pilot holes in the top. Always an airplane, right? I'll drill pre-holes, so I'll line up each hole that they've already got in the frame. I'll do a pre-drill on the window frame part, and then the screws will go in and bite better. That's it. Okay. Got all the holes pre-drilled. So now we're going to move into the van itself and cut out the ribs. Move the camera in there so it's a better view, and then I'll put on these gloves because that's going to get sharp. We'll also be using this step bit again, remember, that's to get that first hole. Okay, let's move it into the van. I've got my eye protection, my hearing protection is already in. I've switched to an angle grinder instead of the oscillating tool. I think this throws a lot of sparks, but I think it's going to cut faster and possibly cleaner. Of course, it also gives the opportunity to screw up faster. So we'll see. Shouldn't be too loud, but you're going to see a bunch of sparks. And yeah. So here we go. First thing, we're going to cut these three out. Got got 6 cuts to make with this, and then we're gonna cut this out with a blade. There's an adhesive on the back end of this, so I'll cut that out, and then we can look at cutting out the whole panel. All right, here we go. You asked for it. Okay, we're now gonna cut these ribs out. I'll cut better yet, I'll cut the glue from the back of the ribs. I got this little knife. So I just got to go down along here and cut this out. There's a glue all the way down. You just kind of score it. It starts. It's real simple to. So what I want, the reason I'm doing it this way is I don't want to, like, you can see how this panel wants to torque. I don't want to torque that too much, because although it's going to be cut out, it may actually extend it. It may put a crease or something. I don't know. Just me being overprotective. But there you go. Out. I don't need to clean all this up because this is all coming out. But I needed the room to get my nibblers through here. All right. So it can't cut through that thick. Although I may have enough room to get in here and clean that up a little bit. We'll see. One out. Two down. Give me my coffee. There you go. 3 down, and here's some coffee. Without metal shavings, I hope. I'll start kind of up like here, and I'll come around and here, and then at that time Claudia will grab it from the outside because it'll be flapping here, and I'll make the final cut, and that should come right out. Just real quick showing you what we're doing. So it's roughly 6 inches from this bottom rim right here to where we're going to be cutting. So we came up a little higher than 6, and now Claudia is just taping that off. That's just to catch any chance of a metal shard, hot shard. Take it all the way down. Yep. So I should be, when I'm cutting, it's probably going to be right around here somewhere. And yeah, right through here. Okay. And then you can also see we've put a box here at the bottom, and that'll maybe tape that a little closer to the van, and that'll catch any metal shards coming down. Okay, so the outside is ready. So yeah, there's gonna be a little hole come out right there. That's where I'm gonna start and just start cutting. All right, I already made the pilot holes here. You can see them. I'm gonna take you around on the outside. I made 6 just to, so what I'll do is I'll just run with the nibblers from hole to hole, and that's gonna take the majority of that panel out. Okay, back in the inside of the van, I got plastic down, obviously. We're gonna nibble this out. Claudia's on the outside ready to catch the panel. Pretty much at the point of no return at this point. So here we go.
I'm right here.
You got it?
Yeah.
Okay, now here we go. All right, big hole in the van. Just a quick note, I had pre-drilled these holes. I didn't need to do that. It actually probably made things a little more difficult than they had to be. As I got to each hole, the lip from the drill caused the nibbler to get stuck. So in a couple cases, I actually had to go around the hole to get past it. But here we go. We got this massive hole now. I'm gonna go phase 2, and I'm gonna get as close as I can to this, and I'm gonna do it, I think, from the outside, because I have more room with the drill. It did kind of, right there, it kind of bound up, and over here on this side, it kind of bound up. Yeah, now we'll try to get the fine cut. So let me put my ears back in, or my hearing protection back in. All right, you can see this here a little bit better. I just followed that rim. I'm gonna go in here and file out a little bit, and then we're gonna do a dry fit, just see if that window goes in. Like right here, I know I'm gonna have to get rid of more. You can see how much I missed the line there. And these other parts, I'm not too bad. But yeah, that's the cut. So fingers crossed, folks, on the dry fit. All right, time to file. Okay, looks like, so I've gone through and I've cleaned up where the ribs were with the cutter and the nibbler. Say hi, Claudia, you're on camera. I'm gonna go through here now, and I'm gonna file down these high points. There's a couple of them, you know, there's 12 of them total. I'll file those down, and then we'll dry fit the window. We're gonna dry fit. If it fits, we got to take the window back out and prime all of this, clean up all the metal that may be down in the air, like there's little shards from those little nibblers. Prime all of this really nicely, and then we can put the window in. So I'm gonna leave this running and just edit. All right. Hello again. All right, there, your side, my side. Now we're gonna stick, get it on the bottom. Okay, you got it? Go over here in the middle. I'm gonna go back in and see where we're hanging up, if we're hanging up. And this time I found my pen, so I can mark them. Okay, we're gonna scoot to your right a little bit. Okay, so that's in. Okay, so it's hanging up a little here. Looks like we got, yeah, I gotta take, well, maybe not, let me. Yeah, we'll have to take a little more off right there. And a little more off right there. Let's go ahead right there. There, and that whole thing probably right there. And then I think it's gonna go in. I'm not sure it's, I'd rather not take too much off, obviously. Okay, okay, I'll come back around and help you take that out. Well, the good news, there is no catastrophic failure at this point. Okay, I got it. The hole was cut. The window did not fall through it, so we didn't cut it too big. Actually, on the opposite side, I gotta get rid of some of these high spots. So I'm gonna get rid of a little on the top, a little on the bottom. I marked it with a pen, as you saw, and then yeah, we should be ready to put the window in. Okay. Okay, hold it in the middle. Got it. Well, what am I missing here? What am I missing? Oh, wow, I got a lot more than I thought. I forgot. Okay, I got a lot of cutting to do still. So that hole is too small by about maybe almost 1/4 of an inch. Okay, grab it. Let's try to show them. So if you all remember that lip I was mentioning on the window frame that I was drilling the pre-holes, the inside of that lip is resting on this, which means the actual window, the outside of the window it's like 1/8 of an inch lower there, all the way around. So while my nippers did get close, they did not get close enough to this frame. I gotta now go through and yeah, basically get it as close to this outer rim as I possibly can. So this is going to be interesting. I'm going to stop the video here because I got to figure out what tool to use here. I don't think the nibblers are, well, wait a minute. They might actually, let's see, if I did, no, they're not going to work there. So I got some thinking to do. I don't want to try to file down all of this. That would take the rest of today. So maybe with the angle grinder, I'll put a grinding wheel on, a sanding bit or disc, and that'll allow me to sand that off real fast. So let me pause here. I'll start it back up once I figure out how I'm going to do this. All right, I'm back. What I'm going to use, I put a grinding wheel on my angle grinder, and I'll use that to go around the entire thing, get it closer to this frame. It does throw off a lot of sparks. I'm going to kind of stand with my back to the cab so that I don't throw any sparks into the upholstery. They typically go out really quick, but I don't need to pockmark the upholstery. So although you won't even be able to see that once we put in the partition wall, so as long as it doesn't catch on fire, we're good. Okay, let me get my ear protection. Hearing protection. The window fits. I'm now going to go in here and clean up the edges. Claudia is then going to come in with the primer, prime all of this. We need to make sure there are no little metal shards, so we're going to need the shop vac as well. gonna suck out any metal shards that are down in the window, prime everything, and then we're ready to install the window. While you're painting that, it's ready to paint. I'm gonna hold that box up so what you come in at about this angle,
Okay.
and get both of these edges.
The edges, exactly.
Don't worry about overspray here. This is all gonna be hidden anyway.
Okay.
And I'll hold so that there's nothing hitting the,
Right.
although that's gonna be hidden by the glass too. But just to be sure. 6 to 8 inches. You don't want to be right on top of it. You're right on top. There you go. No. Okay, now up. Hold on. There's no tape here, so go ahead. Okay. Again. Man, you must think I'm huge if that's 6 inches to you. You're like 1.5 inches away. Okay, that's got it. We'll give that a chance to dry, and put the window in. Okay, we've primed the window, filed off some of the rough edges from the outside as well, primed it all, got all the pieces of metal out of this little area right here so that we don't have little metal shards that are going to sit inside there. We're now going to put the window in from the outside. I will then get the ring and fasten it and tighten, get at least 3 or 4 of the screws tightened, and then Claudia won't have to hold it anymore. We're also going to take a look from the outside to make sure that it's not crooked, right? So we'll use, if allowing, I have some little pieces of wood. They're about 1/4 inch. I'll line those across the bottom, so I know all the way across the bottom, it'll be 1/4 inch from that outside rim. Everything it'll look right. So I'm gonna walk around, Claudia and I, lift the window in. I'll then come back in here, get it pulled in, get the frame around it, and start putting in screws.
Okay, so this is our newly installed window, and Chris is going to go outside now. He's already outside, and he will do the water test. Looks pretty good so far. I don't see any drips along the side or underneath. Good sign.
How are we doing?
Looks pretty good from what I can tell. I don't see any water inside.
You're not gonna see. Yeah, you'd see it down here along the
Right.
along the rim first. You'd see rivulets running.
Right.
So, but the floor is dry. I don't see anything here. I would call that another successful water test.
Woohoo!
We have a window. Okay, let's button everything up, and then we'll do a recap. Okay, quick recap. Window is in behind us. The water test was successful.
Yes.
No water came in. Whether or not it was 60 to 70 mile an hour rains, Neil, I can't tell you, but it was on pretty good from the hose. So we'll see if it holds up. We started at around 9 o'clock. It is now 11:45. So it looks like that's going to be standard. And we were a little faster, I guess, this time. No, actually, we were a little bit longer. Anyhow, we have a window, and it looks pretty good. Everything opens. They don't open really far, but these are really just for light to come in, and then some ventilation. So that when you crack them open like that, it's just to give you a cross. You can immediately feel a cross breeze. What I do like to see here, when I open that, I can actually see the rim of where the water ran down, and everything. It's at least 3/4 of an inch below where the rim of the van. So it's a good seal. So I think we're in good shape. And let me think. Any lessons learned from this?
Not really. Catching the metal shards is really hard. We try to avoid having metal shards all over the place, but I mean, other than putting plastic down, you still tend to walk all over it. And I know I have it stuck in the bottom of my shoe, and I'm sure Chris the same.
I had 'em
So
in my
those
shoe.
metal shards are going to be, a little bit of an issue. We always have to make sure we clean everything up really well and don't take them anywhere else. So.
Okay, the nibbler worked beautifully. It did not, however, allow me to get in really tight to that, and so I had to come back and grind a lot. So I'm not sure how much time I saved, because not using the nibbler, I would have had to, transfer the whole pattern outside. I think that would have taken probably 30 to 40 minutes, and I only had to do about 10 minutes of grinding. 10 to 15. So I don't know, it may be a wash. I am going to use the nibbler again on the back window. We have 3 more windows to install, so I'm going to continue using the nibbler. I did notice, I think that blade that I've been using is getting dull, so I will flip it and start with a new blade on the back window. I think is next. Other than that, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it went
pretty smoothly. Yeah.
Just had to get that hole big enough to fit the window, which is a good problem to have. You don't want to have the opposite, where you got to make the hole smaller. This van would not fit in the dryer to shrink it.
Nope.
So,
And our dryer's broke.
and our dryer's broken, so I got to get a new dryer belt, a drum belt for the dryer. Okay, that's it for today. Got to go on to other things and get other things working. So, thanks. Any comments, questions, concerns, ideas? Put them in the comments. Bye.
Adios.